Hey freaks, welcome to part 3 of our very long multi-episode episode. I hope you enjoy and I hope you have a good time and good luck. So, I am going to share a little story that I am intentionally keeping as vague as possible to protect someone's privacy. Um, that I think really demonstrates very well how propaganda and mostly just propaganda can like actually seriously affect real people's lives that we know and we care about. There was a dye. It's a chemical dye used in like staining tissues. That was there was something that the federal government, some branch of the federal government, was talking about it that it could have certain health benefits, like recently, like in the past couple of months. And I know somebody who um they had a loved one. They have a loved one who is suffering from dementia, and they really just wanted to help this person because they love them and they want the best for them. And this person has had bad experiences with doctors, specifically like Western medical professionals, and doesn't really like the fact that Western medicine isn't as like she like just this person does not have good experience with Western medicine whatsoever. And so they saw that somewhere in the media, it was like a government website, was talking about that this dye could have benefits on stopping dementia. And so they started giving this dye to their loved one in small portions each day. It wasn't like a shot, but it was like a little, I don't
Like
know,
a cap.
yeah, it was like a cap of it every day. And I don't know whether they really saw any effects, but because their loved one has dementia and it is in a pretty severe stage of it at the time that this happened, they accidentally drank like 5 portions of the dye and had to go to the hospital. And at the time that I was told this story, this person was still in the hospital and is in a coma from the chemical dye that they drank. And this person who was in charge, who was giving the dye to their loved one, felt so bad about this and came to me and asked me, like, do you know anything about this? Like, what can I do? And I'm not an expert. I'm not a professional. I'm 21 years old. I'm an undergrad. Like, I don't know anything. But I was like, I don't know how to reverse poisoning of this chemical dye. I don't know what to do. I would just trust the doctors, but like I feel so bad that she had to be in this position. I feel so bad for her because the purpose of a government, not to get too social sciencey here, is to protect its people and provide for its people of the country that it governs. And by putting out information that is misleading or straight up wrong and harmful and can lead to death or serious harm, you're gonna cause death and or serious harm to people who don't know any better. And it's not their fault that they don't know any better. The average citizen should not have to know how to cure dementia, should not have to, have tried to figure out their own ways to overcome their health struggles because they've had bad experiences with doctors in America. That should not be a struggle. It is not their fault that they're struggling with it. And I think it is so shameful that as a country we've put people in a position where they have to seek out other ways that can be so harmful and so dangerous.
Yeah.
um
Because you should be able to trust people in power. That
yes.
is the goal. You should be able to listen to what someone in power says and say they have the authority to say that. I'm sure they're not lying or misleading me. I can trust that person, especially as an average citizen or someone who, isn't in a place that they know what that thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, or they're not, or there's a language barrier or something along those lines where it's, you know, could be taken in a way that is harmful. And it will never be the person's fault who believed something stupid.
Yes.
Ever. It is the
Yes.
person who said something stupid and
And
expected
is in
it to be
power.
fine.
Yes.
And like
Yeah.
there is such a it's so terrible to then think about what she is going through now. I think you mentioned when you told me this story originally that she thought she was seeing improvements,
Yeah.
but it was most likely because of the other medications that the doctors did have her loved one on.
Yes.
And there's no way to know. And if you are, well, we can speculate, but if you are mistrusting of doctors and the media is telling you to mistrust doctors and you've had bad experiences, I understand thinking, oh, my solution is working.
Yeah.
Because this hasn't worked before. Yeah. Why would it start working now? My new thing is helping. Mm-hmm. Let's keep doing this. Even though you don't know what it is or what it does, but if you're thinking that it's working and it's not having any ill effects, then why not? You know? But that's so terrible that anyone has to go through that or experience that or even, be in contact or hear lies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's such a, and I wish that she didn't have to be in this position because I don't want her to feel at fault for it. And of course she said that she does, feel at fault for a lot of it, and she's mostly just doesn't really know what's going on, and just she wants to help her loved one as any person would want to do. And it's so frustrating that so many negative what am I trying to say? That people in power abuse their positions in power. Yeah. If you are a person in power, especially the more people that you have power over, you need to be very, very, very confident that what you're saying is correct and true, and be able to accept that you could be wrong sometimes and be able to fix that and adjust that and apologize. And that's only the one story that I know. I'm sure there are so many other stories of these experiences happening to other people that we don't know about, and for good reason. It's not something that people want to scream out loud to the heavens, I'm sure, but it's hard. It's something to be aware of, and especially something with like vaccines and a lot of the fear mongering on the internet of like, I don't vaccinate my kids, like they cause autism and cancer and this and this and that. And I was in one of my classes last semester. The professor was, oh, I love her so much. We were talking about how do vaccines work and like all of that stuff, and she goes, all of these, you have to cut this out, but she was like, all of the stupid people on the internet, they saying vaccines, autism, no, it's stupid, no autism, there's no correlation, you guys are stupid. Government, stupid. Internet, stupid. Oh my god, I pray that you people listen and know and learn that this is the truth, and what they say is complete shit. Sorry, it's shit.
Wait, why do we have to cut that out?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's brilliant.
And also
another person saying that.
It's another person saying that. And also she was talking, oh my god. Oh, it was about transgenic mice. I actually forgot what a transgenic mouse is, but it's like, what is it? Isn't it like molten? No, that's the polyploidy.
I don't know. I haven't taken micro yet.
We talked about it in developmental on Wednesday, but it's okay. Anyways, we're talking about transgenic mice, and she goes, and I'm not saying transgender. The Trump, the government, they say transgender. Everybody transgender 2025. What the fuck? I'm not talking about transgender. I mean transgenic. There's no such thing as transgender mouse. And I was like, you know what, girl? Yeah,
that's hilarious. Yeah. And I love the accent and the hand motions so Slavic, that you do with that character that you're doing, because she's a real person, but she's a character for us right now.
She's a character for us right now.
But also everyone transgender 2025. 2026.
Everyone transgender 2026.
Yeah,
but vaccines don't cause autism. I don't really feel like talking about it right now, but vaccines don't cause autism.
If you want us to talk about more about vaccines and autism, we can do that.
We can.
Not today.
Not today. Parker Ann Hanley.
Don't full name me.
Oh, sorry. Parker. Parker.
Thank you, Christy. I love you, Christy. Back to the internet and being frustrated by people on the internet. There's more buzzwords than protein, and I think that two of the ones that we have on our Google Doc is hormones, like balancing hormones, and like detoxing.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Please elaborate. When you said you're gonna balance your hormones and this shampoo is going to balance the hormones of your hair. Like, what do you mean?
Dude,
Please
I know.
I would love to know what you mean by that.
Speak to us, everybody. I want to know what you mean. Speak to the glitter eye. The glitter eye yearns to know what detoxing is.
Yes.
But it's like, specifically, people talk about like, oh, like, you need to get your hormones balanced. Like, if you're a woman and you're having like, and they just like list any range of symptoms that could be any disorder ever. They're like, just get your hormones balanced.
If you're cold, if you're hot, if you're pale, if you're not, if you want to die, if you're having lots of sex, you have to get your hormones balanced.
You have a hormone imbalance. If you have eyes, you should get your hormones checked.
Yeah.
Like, why do you have eyes, dude? That's like,
why
weird.
are you who are you
like your like progesterone is probably like out of balance or something.
Yeah,
like something's wrong with you.
I would love them to tell me what progesterone does.
Gestation. Pro in favor of gestation, pregnancy. Progesterone in favor of gestation. It makes you think you're pregnant.
Right. We can say that.
We can say that, but they don't know that.
But I'm never going to be like, oh my God, Christy, your progesterone is so out of balance right now, because we're not medical professionals. We don't know that.
Is falling off. Okay.
And we even know what progesterone does. Not to say we're better than the people on the internet, but maybe a little, because we know what progesterone is. But they, like, I think that it's just another thing of like spreading things that don't make sense and pretending like they make sense.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is there's so many companies that make like money off of selling a fake product of like, this green bloom supplement is going to balance your estrogen and it's going to make you want to hump the wall because your sex drive is going to come back and you're going to grow 10 feet of hair in 3 days. And it's like, hey queen, that's blended up spinach and turmeric.
Yeah.
All right. That's really not going to do that much. And also, like, hormones, balancing your hormones. Sorry, I need to rest my arm.
That's okay.
When we talked about in physiology last semester of like your thyroid produces hormones. If you have I got this wrong on the exam because I remember sitting in his office and going over the exam. Like the primary thyroid production and whatever. Addison's disease is hypothyroidism. That's what JFK had, not RFK. JFK. I get those two mixed up sometimes. JFK had Addison's disease, so he had to take synthetic hormone supplements for your thyroid. So that's like T1 and T2 are like the first like line, like that's like the ones that you start with. And then you can combine two T2s to get T4 or a T1 and a T2 to get T3. So you have to take exogenous hormones to supplement the ones that your body isn't producing. And that's all well and good. That's like a documented medical condition. However, all of the stuff you see on TikTok is like, my period was green one time and I went on estrogen supplements and now my boobs are a 32 triple F. And it's like, hey, whoa,
I don't know if I've ever seen something like that on the internet.
Maybe I just like fall into propaganda holes a lot. But like, I was like, girl, what the hell are you talking about? I don't really know. Like, estrogen, also what I don't understand is like, well, your hormones are going to be different at different times in your cycle.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they're all the same all the time. Like, I don't know. Basically, and like, I don't know where I'm going with this. My mind is starting to fry a little bit. I'm like sauteing.
Oh my God.
Onions.
Wait. Yeah? Okay. Speaking of estrogen and eating plant-based. Oh my God. Full circle. You remember that thing that went around?
Frogs are going gay.
No.
Oh, wait, really? Okay, sorry, go on.
Well, they are, but like where people were scared of soy milk and soy products because they have plant estrogen and they thought they were going to make you have more estrogen as a human being.
Yeah.
And men and boys were getting nervous about estrogen in soy products because it's an estrogen, but it's plant estrogen and not person estrogen.
I'm pretty sure that's like actually what was behind the frogs are going gay thing, or it was something connected to that. Soy foods or supplements containing 40 to 70 milligrams of soy isoflavones showed few effects on plasma hormones or semen quality. These data do not support concerns about effects on reproductive hormones and semen quality. So basically it's been disproved.
Yeah, but this is from 2002. It's something that continues to get brought up. Continues to get brought up in, you know, and I feel like we kind of moved past that, but I feel like yesterday...
Woman, speak to us.
But I think it's something that gets brought up time and time again of like, soy products make you have estrogen is bad if you have estrogen. Men have estrogen. Women have testosterone. Your body produces lots of hormones for lots of different things, and there's, eating soy is not going to make you grow boobs. I can say that with 100% certainty.
Because, man,
maybe
I wish.
like 99.9, because I don't know.
No,
you never know.
Can we talk about detoxing?
Yeah.
Because, like we were talking about this yesterday on the way to whatever class we were walking to, of, like, what day is it? Sunday. I meant Friday. Your liver is for detoxing. Like, that is to eliminate toxins from your body. And they're like, I'm gonna do a liver detox with a juice cleanse. Oh,
like,
girl,
what does that mean?
Are you doing?
What does that
mean?
Saying?
Can you, like, speak words?
So I found an article from Johns Hopkins Medicine, and it's called "Detoxing Your Liver: Fact versus Fiction." And I want to just say, okay, key takeaways. Liver cleanses aren't recommended because they're not FDA regulated, lack of clinical evidence, and don't reverse damage from overeating or alcohol. It basically is not proven to do anything. And people are like, oh, well, just because it hasn't been proven yet doesn't mean it. Sure, there are examples of that where things happen before they're proven. I don't think this is one of them. This has been tested and has not been found to do shit all.
Yeah.
So I think, and then it's like, wait. And then there's products for detox that don't do anything. People are buying products to detox their liver, and it's just, you're wasting your money, respectfully. That's all I have to say. Maybe not. Maybe there's more, but
no, there really isn't more. I think it's, and you know what really is sad is that everyone's like, well, like, I can't trust a doctor who prescribes me medication because they're being paid by a big pharmaceutical company to tell me that. You know who's being paid by big pharmaceutical companies to sell you shit? Detoxing products, greens products, balancing your hormones, that grows your boobs, allegedly. That shit is some random quack on TikTok who has no life and no job and wants to make shit-earned money and calls up a product company and they're like, can you sell me $60 million a year to sell this green supplement that I'm gonna tell women helps their boobs grow 7 cup sizes?
I don't know where
like,
you're getting this. Okay, I'm not hearing the green bloom supplement changes your breasts at
okay,
all.
no, I'm not hearing that. That was just an exaggeration. But I mean, like, that is exactly who is getting paid money to advertise you false things.
Right.
It's not the medical doctor with the medical degree. It's people on TikTok who claim to be wellness experts. Case closed.
And if you do want to protect your liver, there are lots of ways to do that aren't a detox. And some of those include not drinking alcohol in excess, avoiding lots of weight gain all at once, be aware. Oh my God. Beware engaging in risky behaviors. I think what they mean by that is try not to get STIs. And know the risk factors. That's what it's saying.
Wait, that's such a
unprotected sex and illicit drugs
on when you're on a motorcycle, but it says to avoid illicit drug use or having unprotected sex with multiple partners.
That hepatitis B, or just viral hepatitis, it says, not specifically hepatitis B, but that can also affect your liver. Knowing your risk factors and, checking with your family history. There are lots of ways to protect your liver and make sure that you aren't full of toxins. Nothing's scarier than a toxin.
Oh my God, what are we going to do?
Then detox products from TikTok Shop,
Yeah.
And you're not stupid if you bought that. It's okay. Propaganda works. It works on everyone sometimes.
You are not immune to propaganda.
You're not immune. Neither are we.
Yeah.
I've definitely bought stuff that after the fact I was like, why did I do that?
Blue light glasses. That really got me.
I think blue light glasses work. They don't work? Okay, are they bad?
I thought they worked for most of my life. And then, a year or two ago, I read this journal that was published about a study of blue light glasses that basis that they did jack shit.
Are you serious? Yes! Oh my God. Okay, see, there you go. No one is immune. But, even, at the optometrist, they're like, do you want a blue light filter?
Yeah.
So it's like, you're the doctor, I guess. Right? I don't know.
And also, that was just one article that I read that disproved it. I don't know if that is actually true, but that is the assumption that I am going off of now because I don't wear blue light glasses anymore, and yeah, basically.
You are beautiful, and your body is good.
That too, yes. Yes.
You don't need to you if you have a balanced diet and you feel healthy
Eat your carrots
and you're regularly getting physicals from the doctor and they're telling you everything looks good,
every
you
year.
probably don't need to buy products that aren't FDA regulated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, use your discretion. If you
Ooh.
want to waste your money, fine.
I have a thought. So back to the topic of SSRIs. Something that acts as an SSRI but is not FDA regulated is St. John's Wort. And it actually acts more as an MAOI, a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, because it inhibits the breakdown of monoamine oxidase in the presynaptic cleft, or postsynaptic cleft, sorry, or whatever cleft, sorry. St. John's Wort breaks down what the fuck am I trying to say?
I don't know.
St. John's Wort is something that people often use in place of an SSRI because they think it's more natural and they don't want to put chemicals in their body. Which, like, okay, I get where you're coming from. Well, okay, me, like, 4 years ago, got where you were coming from. And I understand the sentiment. But it's dangerous because you don't know exactly how much you're taking. It's not regulated. It hasn't been like demonstrated in clinical trials to actually have a therapeutic effect against depression or anxiety or whatever you're taking it for. It also, SSRIs are the most popular class of medication that is prescribed for depression because they have a low side effect profile. Things like St. John's Wort have not been, tweaked in like a lab to have less side effects. You take that, you don't know what effect it's going to have on your body. You have to be very, very careful to avoid, like, is it tyrosine or tryptophan is the one you have to avoid when you're on MAOIs? I forget.
I don't remember.
You basically can't eat cheese or chickpeas or salmon or like that. And so the moral of the story is it is actually safer to take regulated drugs that are prescribed by medical professionals and medical doctors because they have been tested in clinical trials and they are made in a laboratory setting where everything is controlled and you know how much of a substance you're putting into the drug that you're making. But if you're just taking St. John's Wort as a supplement, you don't, like, the average person who takes St. John's Wort doesn't know that you have to be careful about your diet.
Yeah.
There's no medical professional giving you a side effect, sheet when you're picking it up at the pharmacy. Like, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah. And also I want to say, like, the FDA, and like I know that I was just talking about the FDA and like how things should be regulated by the FDA and Bloom supplements or not or whatever. I don't even know if they are. The FDA also is run by human beings, and human beings are not perfect, and I think that there are some things that pass through the FDA that shouldn't, and some things that don't pass through the FDA that should. And I think that there's nuance to trusting the FDA, but I think that usually, and I think especially when it comes to medications nowadays, because in episode 1 we talked about that drug, thalidomide. We talked about thalidomide and how the enantiomers changed the way that it affected someone's body, and then so people who were taking it for morning sickness were ending up, some of them were giving birth to children with birth defects because it was the wrong enantiomer, and they just didn't know that yet. And there will still be things that we are learning nowadays that, it's like not every drug is going to be perfect. We don't know the side effects of every drug, but it is way more regulated now.
And we have the mechanisms to test the side effects.
Yeah. And so it is way more likely nowadays to find that they have already done the preliminary research for things that could go wrong.
Yeah.
Than in the 50s. It just, we have more science. We have better science now. And hopefully it will continue to get better, and you can trust it even more. I don't think that there is a good reason to not trust medical professionals. Yeah. And that's my hot take of the day.
Yeah. And also, like, if you have had a bad experience with a medical professional, like, seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I am very sorry that you had to have that experience, and I'm sorry that you had to go through that, and that you did not deserve to be treated that way. And I have faith in medicine as a field that that most medical doctors and medical professionals do sincerely care about their patients and science and helping people. And I really hope that you are able to have a better experience in the future, because you deserve a better experience.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry that happened to you. And also, bloom supplements are not regulated by the FDA. They actually have a Prop 65 warning.
What is that?
It's basically California. I think it's only in California where it's like a hold on, let me see. Let me read it. There's a Prop 65 warning on some Bloom products because in 1986, California voters approved a law known as the Safe Drinking Water and Toxic Enforcement Act, better known as Prop 65, which is a California law that requires businesses to provide a warning label on products that contain any of over 1,000 chemicals, even if these chemicals are naturally occurring and found in amounts that are significantly below the FDA
Interesting.
World Health. Okay, please note our products are safe, but they contain the Prop 65 warning since there is potential for them to contain trace amounts of naturally occurring lead. Took them 7 sentences to just say they might contain trace amounts of naturally occurring lead.
Which, like, so do tampons, and I haven't stopped using them, so,
Real.
you know.
While Bloom claims its products are third-party tested for purity and quality, the FDA doesn't verify these claims beforehand, so consumers must rely on the manufacturer's assurances. But also, like, the Bloom website did come out outright and say that they have a Prop 65 warning, which is like,
that's good.
Which is at least good.
That they're
Maybe
saying
they're being
it.
transparent about that. But basically, I feel like people think that, like, if you take this supplement, it's gonna, like, change your life, and all of a sudden all of your goals are gonna come true, and your dreams are gonna come true, and you're gonna be able to focus better, and you're gonna be happier and not anxious and not stressed. And it's like, at the very least, it might just, like, make your body have more nutrients if you're not already eating a balanced diet.
Right.
That's pretty much it. And then as a side
which is not
effect,
a bad thing,
which is not a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, as a side effect of having a nutrient dense body, your regular processes of metabolism might be more efficiently run, so you may be less stressed, you may sleep better.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
that is not linked to the supplement. That is linked to eating a balanced and nutrient dense diet. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, correlation does not equal causation. Nuance and correlation does not equal causation. And Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell.
TB. Tuberculosis Taco Bell.
Tuberculosis bell.
Tuberculosis bell. Ooh.
Me ringing the tuberculosis bell.
You ringing the colon cancer bell when I am not eating any fiber.
Bro, yeah.
Here's the kicker, though. Here's what I think is important, is you are allowed to, you know, buy and use whatever products you want if they're legal. You're allowed to. You can, whatever.
Even if they're not legal, you can buy that too.
You like live your life, I guess. Yeah. But being able to critically think and look at a journal article and say, what year is this from? Who is the author? Do they have the credentials to be writing about something like this? Does it have enough research in it? Being able to critically think about what is happening. If you read a sentence and you go, wait a second, that there might be something off about that, and being able to look into that is what is going to help you get away from the propaganda rabbit hole that we so often fall into, because it is so easy to hear, oh, blue light glasses protect your eyes from blue light on your screens, that you'll have better eyesight, or that's not what they say, but like, it is better for your eyes. Okay, sure. Like, that, like, makes sense, but like, it's not that hard to look into it just a little bit more and see, oh, people who, you know, like, they did a clinical trial of 3,000 people who all looked at screens all day, and 50% of them who wore the, you know, the blue light glasses said that it, you know, reduced their risk of fatigue or whatnot. Like, that's something, you know, just look into it. And I have a couple journals that I found that were just like, what to look at when you're looking at it. How do you read a scientific journal? What are you looking at? What are the main takeaways? How do you read something that you don't know some of what the words all mean? Yeah. Because a lot of, like, even us reading scientific journals, sometimes you're coming across things that you've never heard of. Yeah. But being able to read it in a way that, like, you can get the point across and understand what it's saying is a skill to have. And like, I think that just looking into it and being able to, you know, read a scientific journal that isn't like a news source is an important skill to have. And so I'm going to link some of those that I found in the description. And if you haven't been reading scientific journals, it's a good idea to, like, just give it a shot, take a look, see what it says.
Yeah.
And some things will surprise you when it comes to analyzing something like that, even in
Yeah.
a more casual setting. So you were talking about how, like, if you're taking these supplements and you have a better, more nutrient filled diet, you might feel better, but there's also placebos. People will, and like, I'm not gonna knock a placebo if you think it's working for you and your life is changing because you think this is working for cool. But if you're hurting, if it is in fact hurting you, that's bad. Like, but if you, I don't know, if you're going to the doctor and you're healthier because you're taking supplements and you think that
Yeah.
that's working, or it is working, I don't know, like, then go do that. But I think that there's ways to feel healthy and be healthy without supplementing your diet. You can just
Yeah.
have a diet that includes those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about how you're gonna have to bleep me just picking up my phone to say one thing and it's every single cuss word. I was thinking about the whole concept of processed foods because I think,
Mm.
as a blanket statement, a lot of people say processed foods are bad, which honestly is true because I think we refer to processed foods a lot as like fast food.
Okay.
And like, yes, like highly processed fast food that's high in saturated fat and blah 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 blah, like, yeah, that's not really like a really good health food. You know what I mean? But however, I feel like people take that out of context to mean like pasteurizing milk is bad.
But it's also
And it's
like
like, no.
flour has been processed.
Exactly.
Like, almost everything we eat, unless it's like a whole food, is
Yeah,
processed. Like,
exactly.
processed does not mean bad. I also don't think
Yeah.
fast food is inherently bad. It's
It's
moderation.
moderation,
And
yeah.
and I think that saying like processed foods are bad, or saying is like the same thing as saying like GMOs are bad.
Yeah, like it
Like, you
depends.
don't know what it you if you
Yeah.
think blanket statement GMOs are bad, then you don't know what a GMO is. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah.
Almost all of our crops at this point have been genetically modified because they are not the same as what they were when they first originated. Your corn now is different than what corn used to look like. Carrots, bananas, all of these
Yeah.
things are different now than what they used to look like because of our doing.
Yeah.
Because we didn't naturally select them. We selected them purposefully. We genetically modified them to be
Yeah.
what we wanted. If you think GMOs are bad, you don't know what a GMO is.
Yeah.
And I will die on that hill.
Yeah. And people, like, I think it's one thing to say like, okay, like fast food is bad, but I don't agree with like labeling foods as good or bad inherently because there's a lot more nuance than that. And yes, if you're trying to be like the perfectest, healthiest, most lean person ever with 0% body fat and perfect everything, probably eating fast food, a lot of fast food every single day is not going to help you reach your goals. I think it's like a better way to talk about food if you're describing it as like oriented towards your goals. You know what I mean? If your goal is everything in moderation and a healthy, balanced diet, fast food is totally okay and good to have sometimes. Awesome, that's great. But if you're like a professional bodybuilder that competes at nationals, yeah, you probably can have McDonald's. But it depends. And people take it to be like, oh, well, like pasteurized milk is bad, or pasteurized milk is bad because it's processed. And it's like, yeah, because unpasteurized milk has bacteria that can cause death, you know? And it's like,
that can
or
cause death.
right? Or it's like,
Yes.
and it's like, or it's like, and and like, okay, I might just be kind of being like weird here, but if you take it to like a food processor, you know what a food processor does? It blends things. If I'm making black bean burgers, yeah, man, if I had a food processor, I put my black beans and my onions and my spices and my egg and my breadcrumbs and whatever else I'm putting in there in the food processor. Oh my god, that means my black bean burger is processed. Oh my god, guys, it's gonna give me cancer and it has all these free radical species and I have all these ROIs and like I'm literally gonna die. That means I blended it up so that I could mash it up and put it on the pan and put it in the oven
Yeah.
and then eat it later. It doesn't
Right.
processing something doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah.
So like take everything with discretion.
Yeah. And I think, like, the moral of this or these episodes have kind of just been use your discretion, think critically about what is being told to you, what is being sold to you,
Yeah.
and look into it past what is on the surface, and like what does process mean? What does GMO mean? What is a supplement? What is a detox? What does it mean that you're balancing your hormones? Like,
Yeah.
look into it past what it sounds like, because detoxing sounds awesome. It sounds like, oh my gosh, there's toxins in my body and I have to get it out.
Yeah.
Like balancing your hormones sound great. Oh no, they're out of balance. That's bad. Like, let's fix that.
Yeah.
It's so easy. And I don't know of a single person who isn't a victim of that.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet, and
Including
trust,
us. Maybe we're
including
lying.
us,
Figure it
maybe we're
out.
lying. I can tell you though that we're very much not being paid to do this.
This is true. We're doing it for free.
We're doing it for free. So, but yeah, don't believe everything you see on the internet. And as a moral of the story, like, I think just, I don't know, trust people who are qualified to give medical advice, and medical professionals, and people who have the certifications and the qualifications and everything that they are supposed to have to give you advice and to be certified as an expert in a certain field, because there is and also though, but like, use nuance, and it's so valid if you've had a negative experience with a medication or a food or a diet or even a piece of medical advice that was given to you by a medical professional. It's totally valid to be upset about that and harbor some bad blood against that person or field, because that sucks. But just know that everything and everyone isn't like that. And just because you had a bad experience doesn't mean that someone else didn't have a good experience. And just because you had a good experience with any one of those things doesn't mean that it couldn't have potentially harmed others. So, yeah.
Stay freaky. Live your life to the fullest. Don't hurt anyone.
Okay,
If you want to protect your liver, use protection. Detox, condoms. That's the answer. That's the answer you've all been looking for.
That's the meaning.
Thank you so much for watching. I honestly, we have 30 subscribers, and it's the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me.
We made this for a class project that we had to do for a class last semester, and we genuinely did not expect it to go anywhere.
Yeah, I expected to get 2 views, and it was from us and the professor who had to watch it.
And maybe a friend who we shared it to, but we didn't even think that anyone was going to care or watch it at all. So the fact that that you guys are enjoying this and subscribing and liking it, it really means the world to us, and we really, really appreciate it. And yeah, we're just exciting. Really grateful.
Thank you so much.
I screamed and fell off the bed when
we lost our minds. We lost our minds.
I was crying in the Taco Bell drive-thru. So
we did do that also.
We did do that also.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And most of all,
stay freaky.
Bye.
The crows have gender dysphoria.
Dysmorphia.
Oh, dysmorphia. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Every crow transgender 2026. Thank you, Parker. Everybody say thank you, Parker. Thank you, Parker.
There's still a little bit.
If you're watching this in the comments, comment thank you, Parker.
If you're watching.
Wait, if you're lingering. To grow boobs is a rare. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking. Also, yeah, okay.
Ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ting, ting, lola, bing, bing.
Oh my god. Do you know the song Witch Doctor?
Yeah.
I love that.
The Witch Doctor. That's that song that I'm singing right now.
Really?
Yeah. Hello.